Any questions on the income tax?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. And then lastly, the appropriations status for all the lines in the general fund. As you can see on income tax collection fees, we only got $1,890. That's why I had Jeff tabulate an ordinance to increase that line by 25,000. If you remember, when we shifted the revenues, all the revenues into the general fund, it took the brunt of all the expenses. Of course, that ate up the budget for the appropriations in 4 months.
So that's what this ordinance is for this evening?
Yeah, basically yes, to increase the appropriations in that income tax collection fees.
Okay, and you said it's up, we're behind now because of why?
Well, when we shifted the costs, back in May, when the council passed the ordinance allocating all the income tax into the general fund, we didn't arbitrarily, it took the brunt of all the income tax budget. Hence, the street fund and the swimming pool fund were no longer getting their money, and they didn't pay their share of the fees. The general fund was paying all the fees associated with the income tax collections. So that budget got ate up real quick.
Right, okay. All right, anybody got any questions on any of that?
I don't.
I don't have it.
Do we have any more new business other than the ordinance for the $25,000 for the
Got a call.
tax collection fee? All right, then we'll go ahead and address the ordinance then for this evening. He just explained to everybody what the ordinance is for, so we just need a motion from finance to take to council.
I'll make that motion. Bob, I'll make that motion.
Are you making it?
Yeah, I'll make that motion that we take it to council.
Okay. My phone's a lot slower than your computer.
I'll second that.
All right. Is there any more discussion on that ordinance? All right, we'll go ahead and vote on it.
Mueller,
Yes.
Hamilton,
Yes.
Hankinson,
Yes. All right. Anybody have anything else for new business?
I got one other item on new business, Bob. Also,
Okay.
in your for those of you who had, I submitted, the auditors are pretty much finished with the report or with the audit. You should have received a draft copy of the audit report. It's in final review right now by the state auditor's office before it's released. So basically, it's for your review. And be mindful of the fact that it's not a public record yet until it's formally released by the auditor's office. But the good news about the whole thing, there was no recommendations, no citation, no comments whatsoever.
I guess it helps to be a former auditor then, doesn't it?
Fine.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you.
All right. Anything else? Okay. That's a pretty quick meeting.
That might be the
says here-
fastest finance meeting ever.
It could have been.
Keep up the good work,
Put me
Bob.
right down there with Judy.
Yeah.
Okay. It says the next meeting is October 12th, 6 o'clock.
Okay. What time you
All
got?
right. We'll go
6:18.
ahead and pardon?
No, and Mike asked what time. Said 6:18. Go ahead. Go ahead, Bob.
My time blanked off there for a minute.
All right, 6:18, and the meeting is adjourned. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Bob.
Hey, Bob
Yeah.
or Brian, whatever. Who's
Yeah.
you gonna put my name as a sponsor for that then?
Yeah, I'm putting your name for a sponsor at council on.
Okay. Okay. That's why
2020-30.
I just want to, because I just happened to pull this on the back and I saw that. Okay.
Must have missed a copy down there because I didn't have one.
Your dog ate it.
If he does, I'll get it later.
All right. Service.
Are you gonna keep on recording me, or are you gonna stop and then start?
Are we going to start service right away here?
The,
Wow, we're missing Wade.
oh. Yep,
If
you're
you're gonna
right.
be a minute, I'll come back.
Yeah, let me text Wade and let him know.
Okay, thank you.
It's finance, so he probably wasn't expecting it to get done as early. What I will do is pause the recording though, so that it. All right, let's see if Wade's there. That one worked. I haven't heard from Wade yet. Wade's logging on now.
I think we're all here, aren't we?
I just logged on.
Hey, Wayne.
Hi, Terry.
So now, Dwayne, I think you got everybody.
We'll call
Oh, but he
this,
stepped away, didn't he?
huh? No, I'm here.
Oh, okay. Wade's on now, so
I just was eating candy. I didn't candy bar, so I turned the video off.
oh, okay, that's fine. And Rick's still on here, so you got everybody. So let me
Yep.
Okay.
I'm here.
resume recording, and you're good to go.
Okay, we'll call the service meeting to order at 6:28. Roll call.
Moeller,
Present.
Cosgray,
Present.
Mormon,
Present.
Okay, we also have fiscal officer, VA, mayor, and then also we have Bob and Chuck and Hamilton is on here. Is there a approval of the minutes from August 24th, 2020?
Everything looked fine to me. I move to approve the minutes.
Cosgray, second.
Okay, Foreman made the motion and then Cosgrave seconded it. Roll call.
Foreman,
Yes.
Moeller,
Yes.
Cosgray,
Yes.
Okay. Is there any visitors on there, Mayor?
No, they still email stuff in, and I don't have any emails.
Okay. Goals. Does anybody have anything they want to look at, change, ask about on the goals? Or discuss anything about the goals? Hearing none. Reports. Village departments.
I would like to ask that the normal metrics that I do at the service meeting, that I will give that at the next council meeting, and that will be by departments. Tonight, I would like, if you don't mind, just to talk about the projects and to help select an OPWC project, et cetera.
Okay. So you're going to wait for that down into new business, correct? Is that what you're talking about, Terry?
No, for the next council meeting. At the next council meeting, I will have the department reports and the metrics.
Right.
Tonight,
Well,
I just want to talk about projects.
That's what I'm saying. You're going to
Upcoming
wait
council meeting, not tonight or?
next
Not
council.
tonight's council meeting,
Next
the next
council.
council meeting.
So
Okay.
what I'm saying, Terry, is you just want to wait till we get down to new business for the OPC project stuff, right? Is that what you want to wait for?
Well, I'd like to give you an update on the projects that are going on now too, Dwayne. So whenever you want those,
Go for
you
it.
just let me know.
Go right ahead and go. Knock yourself
Okay.
out.
All right, so on Friday, we received the approvals from the EPA for the PTIs. And that's proceed to install, by the way, for all three of our water projects that we had anticipated at the first of the year. That is the Westwood project, the North Basel Street project, and the Loop project with on Fremont, Brown, and Kumler. So those were received on Friday. So that really leads right into, I'll talk on page 2, I believe, starts the water. Page 3 at the bottom starts the water projects. So the Westwood water line replacement project will begin. I have the new timeline on here today, which says today and tomorrow we're confirming that all the parts that we need and all the piping and everything is in or will be in. We're going to establish a traffic pattern flow so that we can really keep those streets open for the residents, but close it to traffic, basically. And then also putting together a communication for all of the residents on the Westwood water line project, so they know that everything will begin. I think we'll probably deliver those door to door instead of mailing them out, because I don't know how long it would take for them to get them via mail. So we'll probably pass those out on Wednesday, so everybody would know. So the Westwood project then is a go. So we're working on that. As you can see, we predict that we'll be finished by October 16th on this project. Now that may not be with the street fully repaired or paved, but that means that everything will be in the ground and the new water line will be in place. Should see a lot of improvements. I'm very excited about that. So moving on to the Kumler-Brown Fremont Cape Loop project is what we call it. If you remember, when CDBG, we were going to put in a grant for that. This is the project that we picked. This project, we do have the PTI on now. So if we wanted to move this as one of our OPWC projects, we will. So we can. So I'd like to talk about that when we get to OPWC, but just know that everything's in place, that this project can now move forward if we choose to. And then the North Basel Street water line, I think we're still going to kind of wait on that. We may postpone that until next year, just based on manpower. So that's the water line projects. Any question on them so far? If not, I'm going to jump back to page 1 and let's talk about the wastewater projects. We did talk to the paper mill. Last Friday, we had a pre-construct meeting for the OPWC project and Jim was in attendance. That's the manager for the paper mill. He said they are ready to go any minute. So I feel like probably within the next week or two, the mill will start sending us their discharge. Met with the whole staff today. They're all ready to go. I think Mr. Little says all he'll have to do is ping the meter or whatever once they start. Other than that, we, being the village, are ready to accept the discharge. The big project that we've been working on, then is the next one, the South Company Lift Station. We're all the way down to they're just tweaking that. So everything has been put in place to ensure that pump 4 now is automatic. Number 1. Number 2, Brad will now be able to operate the lift station much the way Joey does the water plant. This new BT SCADA is like a SCADA system that that now he can see what's going on. Before, if you remember, he only got one code from that signal when something was wrong, and that was a low level, and it could have been anything. That was the only thing it knew to say was low level. Now he'll be able to watch it running and know exactly what's happening. This is a great improvement for us. And that was the project that BSI Engineering worked on. BSI Engineering is the firm that I would like to see also take over the SCADA operation at the water treatment plant. We have been working to transfer some of that information from DJE, who, as you all know, has been less than communicative. They don't talk. If there's an emergency, it's hard to get a hold of them. BSI is Johnny on the spot whenever we need them. So we'll probably be moving more to BSI and away from DJE, which I think is very good for the village.
Carrie, are they pretty comparable cost wise?
They're cheaper.
Okay.
They're,
Oh,
okay,
that's
I don't
fine.
want to
I'm
use the word cheaper because that implies not as good, but they are not as expensive. In fact, I'm working on the last invoice that I received from DJE that I wasn't happy with, and so we're still working on getting that quote unquote fixed.
Okay.
This is a company that Bird and Bull had suggested that their expertise is in water and wastewater SCADA. So this is, I think, a very good move for the village. So then I want to move on to our other love, and that is street projects. Like I said, last Friday, we had a pre-construction meeting with Strasser, who will be our contractor. Also in attendance was a representative from Greif, Jim, who is the production manager over there, and then Creative Foods had sent their maintenance foreman. The reason why I wanted to include them in our conversations was I want to make sure that we're protecting the egress and ingress that their trucks will be doing on and off of Water Street. Jim from the mill said he's very much on board. There's some improvements he would like to make over there, and that whatever we need from him, quote unquote, send me the bill. So it's really great to have someone who appreciates the amount of the investment that the village is putting into that street over there. So that'll be a plus. We will be beginning this week. We should see some movement over there. So they're anticipating that they can get in there and get out of there. They're saying a couple of weeks by our contract with the state for the OPWC that I sent in. We had given them November 16th as the final date. They said said in the meeting they'll be long gone by then. So that's really good that they're going to go get in there, get the work done, and get out of there, because that will allow us to close out that project. Any OPWC project that you have open, when the next bidding round comes up, you receive negative points for. So by having this project overdone and closed, then we won't receive any negative points of whatever, as we do our submission for our new project. Holder Road finally finished. It looks really nice. I heard from a couple of the residents who said that even when they skimmed off the top to get down to the base before they laid the pavement, it was better than it was before. So they all truly appreciate this road. It looks really nice. If you get a chance, go down it. Very nice road. So I will probably be taking that off of our project report. ODOT, the West Market Street repave, they still have the approaches to do. Today, I sent an email to ODOT engineer. There is a portion down by Ruth's house. I think it's in the 1560, something like that address on West Market. If you remember, we had trouble with the storm drain there, and we had water standing, and Tim and the guys went in and made repairs, so that didn't happen. Well, somehow along the way, the repairs got fixed differently. And when we had that rain, we had some pooling there. So I've asked her, because they need to come back in and do the approaches yet. So I've asked her if it would be possible for them to take another look at this area. The last thing I want to do is start fighting the water pooling there after we did have it fixed. The other item I asked her about is the one that we've had conversations about in the safety meeting. If you remember, we talk about the intersection there of Market and Main and how people are trying to make that a turn lane when there isn't enough room for a turn lane. So I have asked her when they come in to paint the striping down the road, is that they allow us to stripe out the portion so we can show that it's not a turn lane. So I'm awaiting a response. She will respond to me. She's been very good throughout this project. So those are the two things that I've asked for. Other than that, we feel very satisfied with the job they did. There was a couple of times we had a lack of communication, which from your guidance, I made very clear to the Shelley company and got several phone calls. So I think they understood that communication was important. So those are the current road projects that we had going on at this time.
Hey, Terry, quick question on that.
Yes.
While we're on the road projects, our contract to do the street sweeping, is that with Strasser?
No, that is with Ohio Contractors or Ohio Street Sweepers. So no, it's not.
Oh,
Okay.
really?
And that's one of those COVID-19, because of COVID-19 expenses we backed off on. So we are not sweeping streets at this time.
Okay,
We would love to come back and sweep our streets though, trust me.
Well, and that was my question, because the other day, right after they paved on Market Street heading west from Main Street, there was a street sweeper there doing some street sweeping. And it didn't say Shelley Company. So I thought, did our street sweepers, because we've asked them before to give us when they're going to come in and do it, and they haven't really been able to do that. They just say, well, we'll get there when we get there. And I was just wondering if we ended up to pay for a street sweeping, a day after the road was swept and repaved. But if we've backed off that, it must have been cleaned up from Shelley.
That
Yeah,
was
they
when
do,
it,
they do a final cleanup when they're done.
Yes.
They contract a company, I think, to come and sweep it.
Okay.
Yeah, it seemed like they drug more mud and dirt up onto the street than they swept. It made it look worse.
That's what
not
most
better.
sweepers do, though. Most sweepers
yeah,
aren't.
they do.
They don't
That's
do what
where
you think they would.
they do.
But as long as we weren't paying for a street sweeping
Mm,
with our company that we didn't really need, okay, that's all I wanted to make sure.
Okay, that's something we also, and we started talking budget-wise among staff. That's also something we need to talk about. Again, do we want to re-engage the street sweeper and maybe a more abbreviated schedule than what we had before, but at least have them come in. We might do that. So we'll have to see how the budget looks. I wanted to give you a quick update on Schaffner's. They did select a contractor for to put in their new building, B7 construction. I'm still waiting to see, they asked for all of the contact, who would be the person to contact for the village. So I gave them all that information today. So I'm waiting to see when they're going to start that. I know his original intent was to keep the business running while they were redoing the building. So it'll be interesting. Dollar General, I have everything in place for them. I'm ready for them to come in and start, even though they still have a waiting period yet, and council still has to approve the annexation. We're just waiting on them to say, hey, I'm coming in directionally bore for the sewer and water. And so we're really ready to go. The ball's in their court. The owner wanted to get the building under roof by December 31st. So hopefully that still is a go. The only other thing I had on here that I wanted to talk about is as we go, and of course, as you know, we don't have, we're now limited by staff, but we are doing some of those through alleys that council had said, just make sure you have a through alley if you're gonna do one. We just finished the one there between Market and Mulberry. It had pretty deep ruts in it. We had a complaint from a couple of the residents there along Park Street, so that their houses had come in that way. So we got that alley finished last week. So two things I want to talk about tonight. Well, three things. The first thing is as of the beginning of this month, Bird and Bowl has merged with a new company called V3, V like in victory. Brian has set up a meeting about 2 weeks prior to that to let us know what was happening. I'll be more than happy to send out a flyer to all of you so you can see what this means to us. It means he now can do more LTAP projects. He'll have more people to pull from. He believes that it is the right move for all of his customers, and I believe that too. I take a wait-see attitude about all things, and in this case, I am comfortable that they still serve the small villages or small entities like we have been. Not saying they won't grow, but at least they have those expertise available that we didn't have before. So I'm looking forward to that relationship. I am bringing that up to you tonight because first of all, I wanted you to know what was happening. But second of all, I will need a motion that comes out of service to allow me to sign agreement assignments. We have 3 agreements with them. And I'm not talking about like the OPWC. I'm talking about like mainly the water projects. We have agreements are open POs. And so I just need to sign this paper that says we're assigning that to their new company, B3. Since you as council gave me permission to do that through a motion, and I need for you to give me another motion tonight so I can go ahead and sign it. And I think that's only fair. If anybody has any misgivings or they think it's not the right move or whatever for the village, please reach out to me. Otherwise, I'd like to have a motion tonight for that.
Good day,
Harry,
Mark, with their-
you have to change them as a vendor. I mean,
I'm sorry.
you have to like close that account and then start a new one with as a new vendor or what?
Yes, we received our last billing on the last day of the month, starting the first day of this month. It's now a new vendor. Brian has all of the information and has all that set up. Correct, Brian?
Okay.
I don't have a W-9 I'll have to double check.
Yeah, you do, Brian. Okay, Brian does have all that information, so,
Oh, yeah, you're right, I do.
okay, thank you, Brian.
Terry,
What?
who'd you say they merged with?
Well, V, like the letter V,
Mhm.
and then the number 3. Sorry, I have my flipper
That's
in.
okay.
I will send everybody after this meeting a brochure that explains a little bit about it. I should have included that in your packet. I apologize for that. But I think it's a good move. I think things will be good.
Do you need a motion in council on that?
I need a motion from service to be able to
Right.
do that, right, Brad?
Yeah, I think, well, a motion from service and then a follow-up in council with
Council,
everyone.
Correct.
I'll make a motion that we reassign those contracts to V3.
Cosgrave, second.
A motion by Foreman to switch the contract from Bird and Bull to the V3 company, which is who they merged with. By Foreman and second by Cosgrave. Roll call.
Fuller,
Yes.
Foreman,
Yes.
Cosgray.
Yes.
Okay, I can't say enough. If you remember when we did the CDBG project and Mike just dropped everything he was doing that weekend to get the paperwork for us. So I think it's the right way to go. I would also like to talk about when Strasser was over there, and as you know, both Holder Road and Water Street came in less than what we thought it would. So, and as you can see, Tim's spending in Brian's report is down. Now that is going to go up substantially. He's just kind of been on hold until we got all of our approvals and stuff. So you're going to be seeing his percentage go higher. But having said that, we had Strasser look at Oak Street and Washington and Maple Street. And we were just curious to say, if we were to do Oak Street from Railroad to Market, now I'm talking separate. This is not OPWC, yeah. I'm just talking separate. But if we would have the money to pave Oak Street from Railroad to Market, and as you all know, it desperately needs it, very high traffic road, and also Washington and Maple. Today I received a bid, not a bid, because it's not a bid, because it's under 50,000, a estimate from Strasser of $43,436 for Oak and $45,379 for Washington. So I talked to Brian. He said Tim has the money, or we have the money to be able to pave these streets. I have a couple of things I have to talk to Jeff about in connection with this, the way they sent me the proposal. But I wanted to see what council thinks about doing those 2 streets.
So
And that- Go ahead, Brad.
Just for clarification, Terry, you're saying with the money we had set aside for the projects that we're already doing, with what they came in under, we could do an additional $90,000 of road.
Brian, where would you get the money?
Okay, well, remember, there's 131,000 remaining in the what I budgeted for street paving. We budgeted 225. Well, 78 whatever is going to go to Shelley Company. So there's 131,000 right now. Now I don't know what the cost is to repave. What's going to be the cost to repave Westwood?
Westwood, I think we said 40. 30 or 40 maybe. I'd have to look at that number again. Because of the price of asphalt right now, it was hard to pinpoint it.
Okay. So let's say it's 40. That takes it down to 91,000. There's 91,000 remaining that could be used to pave some additional streets. Now, those two projects are what? Well, roughly 90,000. So yeah, we do have the budget for it
Without borrowing any money from anywhere.
without borrowing money.
Terry, the one was Washington, well, I'm sorry, was Oak from Railroad to Market, and the other one was Washington,
Washington and Maple
Oh, Washington Street
to Maple.
to Maple?
From where to
Washington,
where?
Yeah, that's where I'm confused, because you
Me
got
too.
you got Maple, and then you got Washington, and you got Westwood. I'm trying to make sure I understand you right.
okay, he said the Washington Maple Street. Now I'm confused because they go
Because
the
if-
same way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
Well-
that would be just adding some more in there to pave those couple streets, because that's what I thought. Maybe this was all affiliated with the water line replacement. That's what I'm curious.
Well, and what I'm looking at is it's confusing too. If it's Washington, the length of Washington, but when we look at the price quote for Park, it's 225,000. So it can't be all of Washington.
Has to be a small
Right.
portion.
Well,
Yeah.
and when you said Washington, I'm like, oh wow, wait, oh Washington, that'd be good. But
Yeah, I mean, if it was Washington, the length of Maple, because Maple ends, but I don't know, they run parallel.
Right.
Washington ends at what?
Westwood,
Liberty
Yeah.
Washington does.
or High? Or Maple ends? Maple ends where they run parallel, so I don't understand it.
Yeah, Washington ends up at 256.
I
Washington
mean, run
ends
the
at
other way.
256.
Maple
That's
ends where?
correct.
Maple ends at either High or Liberty, I don't know which.
Okay, that's fine. Go ahead and talk to me.
Liberty.
Liberty.
Okay, West Washington, Westwood, and West Maple.
So that's part of where your water line is.
Yes,
So West Washington, west of Market,
that is correct. I'm talking to Tim right now.
not all
Yeah,
the way to
that's-
High.
That's that. No,
It's that little, yeah, the
No, West
west of
Washington would be
Market
all
Street where the
everything
water
from
line's
High.
in, yeah.
they're talking everything on the west side of 256.
Everything on the west side of 256, Tim? Yes,
Yes.
Mr.
So
Mueller is
west,
correct.
it's Washington, turns into Westwood, and then goes over to Maple.
That
So
is
it's that
correct.
whole quadrant right
Okay,
there,
so Washington from Market west.
all the way over to Maple. Everything on the west
Yeah.
side of 256.
Yes,
Okay,
That is
okay,
correct.
that makes sense now. That makes sense now.
yes, it
Which,
does.
And all of Oak from Railroad to Market.
so the Washington to Maple area makes, to me, it's almost, that one's almost a no-brainer.
Fixing
We should
the water
absolutely
line.
do that because we're putting the water line in there. So we got the new
Can you
water
hear?
line, we get a new road on it.
So,
Right.
Can you hear me?
so my question is, if the part of Maple or of Westwood was going to be to pave that was 40,000, is the 45 to pave that little stub of Washington and that little part of West Maple? So it's going to be an additional 45,000?
So Tim, when we go to put in the water line, will this include where we're going to put the water line in at? Yes. Tim said no. He said the Washington Maple will include where we're going to install the water line.
Is the Washington Maple one project or two project? One. And then the Oak is one. So we got two projects totaling $90,000. We have the money. We should
Yes.
absolutely do
Yeah,
it because.
I gotcha.
Yeah, we're not supposed to keep the money. We're supposed to spend the money to fix the
Yep.
streets.
I'd say pave them.
My only concern with Oak Street, it needs done. It absolutely needs done. But it gets tore up so often. Are we going to put new pavement down and then in 2 weeks have to
So
tear
what do
it
you
back
mean it
up?
gets torn
No.
up, Brad? I'm
That
sorry, Mayor.
it will last. It'll last for it's not gonna get tore up. Because you don't have near the traffic that you used to have on that road. You used to have a lot of big farm trucks and stuff in and out of there.
I'm not thinking as much of the traffic as Columbia Gas, AEP, and our water lines that break underneath of it.
Okay, well, we just fixed a water line, you're right, but we fixed it. Columbia Gas, is Columbia Gas down in that area? They are, aren't they? Oak. As far as we know from all of the OOPS tickets, they are done on Oak. And we just installed a new storm drain over there. So like anything else,
I mean,
I feel as
it's
though
a
it's
game.
good.
And to my mind, it's kind of a temporary fix anyway. I mean,
Yeah.
if you're gonna fix Oak, you're gonna fix it right. It's gonna be $400,000.
Right, because this will just be
This is-
skimming
this
and
is-
paving. It's not curbs and gutters.
Yeah,
No.
this is a
Correct.
really large pothole repair. This is not a permanent repair.
Can you-
Right.
So that amount of money to me for the condition of Oak Street is reasonable. We'll
Yeah.
get half a dozen years out of it. We're great. We're golden.
Yeah.
Okay.
If it buys us time till we can do another big project where we do curbs and gutters, then you're looking at the time, at that time frame would be when we're ready to do it anyways, hopefully.
There's no
I
way we're
agree.
gonna do it right in the next 5 years. We should
Okay,
do
I
it
think we're
at
gonna
least
take
as
those.
good
I
as we
gotta
can.
figure out how to
At
do it
least
without
get it
getting in
going.
trouble.
And that
Yeah.
takes one of our OPWC projects off our potentials for discussion in a little bit too, because Oak was one of them.
Correct. All right, I'm gonna let you go. Watch if I text. Bye.
So it sounds like we're in agreement. We should do the Washington Maple and the Oak if we've got the money.
And according to
Absolutely.
Brian, we do. Correct, Brian?
That's correct. I'm just question. The only thing that I'm kind of worried about is how they made the proposal. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna talk to Jeff about that. I'll
Okay.
talk to Jeff about it.
Because they're under 50,000, so we might not have to bid them.
There's
Right.
two projects under
Both
50,000.
projects together exceed 50,000. So I mean,
But if we do them as, but they're, it's not like it's two projects where we're saying Oak Street's a project and Coomler's a project and they intersect and they're right there. They are separated by
It's
several
separate
blocks
projects, correct.
throughout the village to be able to be identified as purely separate projects.
right.
Correct.
Okay.
And they can get them done this year?
Correct. In fact, if we have a motion to do it and you approve it and Jeff is good with it too, they will do it the week they're in on working on the OPWC project. Well, of course, they can't do Westwood until we're done putting the water line in there. But what it saves is on mobilization costs
Yeah.
and everything else for them to come back to the village, as long as they're here working on Water Street, we save that mobilization cost.
So was Oak access to a mulching operation back in there also?
There are several businesses. That's a limited manufacturing district. There is a lumber company. There is a auto repair. There is a
Pantry.
bulk sale, and there's the food pantry. So Oak Street gets a lot of traffic. And in fact, I was trying to see if we could route the traffic differently and go down Basel, but because the road narrows and because of right there where we go over to the bridge and they use big semis to get back there, that's not going to work. So Oak is their only artery to get back to those businesses.
Yeah, I see that as a positive reason to go ahead with the project and pave it.
Hey, Brian.
Yeah.
Question. Okay, so we budgeted, how much did you say we budgeted for paving? 225?
We budgeted $225,000 for a road paving project. It was strictly Holder, and Holder was budgeted 125.
Okay.
And of course, that came under budget by 40,000 or so.
Okay.
And the remaining 100,000 was for Westwood. And I think West Maple and I think it was included in that number, I believe. So
So here's my question is, and I'm just doing the math quickly in my head. if we, after the Holder Road paving, you said $131,000 left, correct?
That's correct.
And then she gave us the prices for Oak and the Washington Street area, which
Right.
comes up to just around 90,000 roughly.
Right. So that means
So that means we still have about roughly 40,000 left in paving.
for Westwood, yeah.
No, the Westwood's in the 45,000.
No, Westwood is going to be in the Washington and Maple, Brian.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're gonna have, so we'll actually still have about $40,000 left.
Also, that Washington, Terry, the Washington Maple, that includes
Right.
Westwood?
Yes.
I just called Tim because I wasn't sure of that from our meeting this morning. So he said it does include Westwood.
And I was hoping so because the tap is on Washington coming down
Right.
through there. So we would hopefully all that would be paved, not just the center spot. So all I'm saying is that means we got roughly 40,000 left. Is there,
Yeah,
is there any other little spot that we can?
That is correct. All you're doing is adding Oak Street to it, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not saying we got to spend it all, but I'm saying while we're paving, is there any other smaller areas that we know is really bad that we can do an area that's
Well,
200 feet long
and-
or whatever needs paved?
And just to give you guys an idea how much, of course, it's, the non-scientific Google Maps, but Terry they said Oak Street would be about 43,000, and Google Maps tells me that that's approximately 1,400 feet long. So, I mean, that's another sizable
Yeah.
road to be able to do.
And I'm not saying we got to spend it all, but I'm just saying if there is, we ought to, if we got some streets that are really, really bad, we ought to try to patch it if we got the money there.
Well, and I think part of the cost savings is that they're already here.
That's right.
Right.
And if we keep
So
them
hard to
somewhat,
get them to come, and it costs $20,000 for them just to show up, and they're already here.
exactly. We don't want to
Well-
do that. That's what I'm saying. If we can
I'm-
mobilize them now while they're here,
I'm going to throw this one out there then as a possibility. Gordon, over by my place, that goes from Market Street down to the park. We did a major water line repair right there. It's got a big hole in it, and it's just like a lot of the other roads around there.
how about better? Why not go from Oak on Washington Street to probably close to, I don't know, maybe not quite to Brown, but somewhere in that area where there's been some water leaks, and that is a heavily traveled road.
You're saying
Because
go on Washington?
Yeah.
But remember, Brown is a part of that loop that we want to do. And once we get all of that infrastructure in, we'll be repaving that area.
But from Oak Street on
No,
Washington?
not from it. No.
I'm not talking about Brown. I'm not on Brown. I'm just talking about on
Oh,
Oak
okay.
Street.
All right, you're
From
right.
Oak Street down so far, because the part going west is pretty decent. That part of Washington is good, but you got that from there down, say down to the school, is really pretty rough. And we got some drainage issues there, anyways. But that's pretty rough and ate up right there. Plus, we've had several leaks right there, just down kind of behind me on Washington Street, that has been just filled in. It doesn't have to be there. I'm just saying we just need to pick an area that's one, it's heavy traveled, that would really benefit from some, minor repairs. Yes, it'd be nice to be able to go through, and if we do this levy thing and it passes, we're going to be tearing roads up anyways. But
So,
I would just like
to
to
your
pick something that's heavily traveled.
to your point, Dwayne,
Yes.
approximately 1,400 feet down Washington would be from Oak Street to Union Street.
See, that's the part that's probably, it'd be nice to go to the water tower,
I
because
was going to say, at that point, we could probably find the couple $10,000 it would take to get all the way to Tower Street.
Okay, now. But we
we
have
don't
to
have
watch.
to.
Yeah, but we have to watch it because now the point is that we're extending Water Street, which could be perceived as one project. And even though it would only be, it gets
Just tie
kind
the
of,
two projects together.
yeah, and then that means we'll have to bid it out. It's important that we watch that because it's called bid splitting. And we have to make sure that we don't do that because
Three
it's
blocks
not,
apart.
Yeah.
right.
So-
We have to
so-
make sure they're separate projects.
Yeah.
So on one hand, why it makes sense, like Dwayne was saying, it would be nice to do that. We also need to look at a different area of the village potentially for that last 40.
All I'm saying is pick an area. It doesn't have to be there. Just an area that we know is heavily traveled, that we know is really in bad shape. I don't want to pick a side street that's
Okay.
got just residents that are nothing against that. I mean, they all need pavement too, good pavement, but something that sees a lot of traffic on a regular daily basis is what I
Yeah,
want.
we
Okay,
probably
maybe
have time
this
to
will
take
make-
a look, don't we, for another couple weeks?
Well, that's how we're having the meeting tonight because they
Yeah.
will start this week. But just to make you feel better about Washington, to your point, Dwayne, we've had a lot of leaks there and that's going to need a whole new water line. That's like
I-
Swiss cheese through there with
I know
We'll
I know where
not
we,
pave it because if the levee passes, we're gonna tear the whole thing up.
right.
that's what I'm trying to
So-
say from Yunster to Oak at least.
Here's one that I occasionally get complaints about. The rest of South Mill Street, when 2016, 2017, when we paved that, the paving stopped at Elmwood or Fairview. And it didn't go all the way down to Kellner Avenue and around.
Yeah, it's not the Fairview.
Right. And I get complaints, especially from some of the elderly residents back there about walking down it and driving down it. And there are a number of big potholes there because I walk past them with my dogs occasionally. So that is something we could look at as well. It's not as big of an area, but it does get traveled quite a bit. And just like all the roads, it does get complained about on a reasonable basis, and it makes sense to finish the road. I don't know why in 2016 it just didn't loop all the way around, but
Yeah, I mean, if it needs paved, it needs paved. It's our job to pave it.
That project was in place
yeah.
when I came. So yes.
Yeah, so we could look at South Mill from Fairview down to Kellner and probably just Kellner all the way up to Main
Market.
Street at that point. You're only talking another 100 feet at that
Market.
point.
I mean,
We ever get curbs in on that? South
No.
Mill that way?
no.
I didn't think so. Okay.
And that one, you're looking at less than 1,000 feet. So that would give us a little bit less than our 40,000 to give us a little bit to carry
Sure.
over just in case we have
Yeah, that's fine.
overages or something.
I'm fine with that.
Okay. So the South Mill around like the J shape, I want to say, and then come out on the state route.
Yep.
Main,
Yeah.
yeah.
Kellner Avenue and South Mill.
Got it. So I guess I'm asking for some sort of a motion just to let me go ahead and pursue these.
Foreman makes a motion to move forward on the two previously mentioned projects, the Oak Street project and the Walnut Elmwood Street project, is it? No.
Oak Street and Washington, Westwood Maple, and then the South Mill.
Makes a motion to allow the village administrator to move forward on getting a quote on those three projects.
Hey, Terry,
Yeah.
on Rick's motion, if we get a quote and it's under there, will we have time if we wait till the next meeting to approve going ahead with that, or do you need that tonight as well?
Well, that's up to you. If they're in and out and then I have to pay a mobilization fee, which is, costing the taxpayers more, then, I could wait if you want to just,
Can I make a motion to go ahead and approve if it comes in under the projected, what we project, the
There we
amount
go.
budgeted, the budget amount?
okay.
Yep, that sounds good.
Osprey, second.
Okay. Roll call.
Foreman,
Yes.
Osgray,
Yes.
Moeller,
Yes.
Mayor's voting yes on that too, even though I don't get a vote.
Okay, make a note of that, Barb. All right, so now I want you've got 17 minutes to talk about OPWC projects. The due date that I have to have these submitted is the 1st November. That's been extended. There is 12.8 million across the state for OPWC projects. 12.38 million. In our meeting last Friday, there were about 85 projects that were submitted, and they only funded 50% of them. So I'm just giving you the statistics so you know. My suggestion is, since we did work on the water loop project for Brown and Kumler, etc., I'm suggesting, and so is the team, that be one of the projects we submit to the OPWC, and that the other project be the resurfacing of Park from East Cliff to Dorchester and include the pool, Summers Place, and Summers Choice, and oh, that's right, it's Monopoly. Summers Choice and the parking lot at the pool. That would be my suggestion for a street project. Not my
Why?
suggestion, teams. So
Let-
2 projects, 1 water, Kumler Brown Fremont Loop, 1 street, and that's Park from East Cliff to Dorchester, but including the pool.
And the reason they want to go with Kumler Brown Fremont Loop over Washington Street is because we've already got the PTI and all of that stuff for that.
That is correct. That was
Okay.
one of our original projects that we were going to do. And that's only a 5/8, I believe, service line there. It's under an inch. So it is very in the need of replacement. And we're also doing some work over there with the school and the athletic building, new athletic building.
So we'd be increasing that to like a 6-inch line on that loop?
I believe that's it. Oh, it's a 3/4 line there now.
That's what I
And
thought.
it, yeah, and so I said 5/8, 3/4 inch line now, and yes, we would be increasing the size. The athletic building's going to be going there at the athletic field, and that will have water and sewer services.
So we'd have fire hydrants over there as well that we do not have now.
Yeah, there's a hydrant over there.
Not on a 3/4 inch line.
Oh,
I can't. That which line are you talking about? Which one you calling this 3/4? What street?
Kumler.
that's the Fremont.
Oh. Not sure where it ends and begins,
Tremont's
actually.
3/4. We're at on Tremont.
Free with an F, Fremont.
Fremont,
Fremont.
Yes.
right there behind me.
Running right towards the athletic field.
That street's on a 3/4 inch line. That whole street.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, there's several houses there on a
Man.
3/4 inch line.
I did this. I mean,
You can't rewrite history.
no, you can't. But I'm telling you what, I don't know how any of these people have any water. To be honest with you.
Oh, absolutely. I agree
I mean,
100%.
you have
That's
every
why.
one of those houses flushed the toilet at one time. There's got to be no water there. Has to be. I cannot believe it's a 2-inch line. Okay, I could get that. I mean, we got areas that have 2-inch line.
Yeah. We have
Yeah.
at least 4 residents that live on that street.
That's ridiculous. That's crazy.
Been that
That's
way
what-
for a long
There's nothing-
time.
Yeah,
Minimum
that's an
actually-
old line too.
Years ago, minimum should have been at least a 6-inch. Period.
Yeah.
That's just crazy.
So Terry, the fact that that line is so small and so old, will that help us get points for it?
It's going to help us get points in the area of the village that it is. It'll help us get points. I'm telling all my, so I have to have a strategy. So what I look for is how many people will be impacted and how they'll be impacted. So
Is there
I
an-
think of all the water lines that we have going, this is a good one.
Is there a 6-inch line servicing the athletic field for the new building?
No, not yet.
What services the new building? Is there a fire hydrant within reach?
Well,
right
I
across
know
the-
it starts at a 2-inch and the 3/4 for the 4 houses there in Fremont.
So how far is the nearest fire hydrant to the new athletic building?
Right across.
Are they maybe taking a line off of Washington right down the street? Past the parking lots into the new building area?
No, it's directly, no, it's right there at the end of,
Fremont.
Fremont.
yes, and it's going to be a 4-inch, not a 6-inch.
Oh, there's a 4-inch over there?
Yes.
Okay. That's what I didn't know. When you got off Fremont, what
I'm-
is there? I don't know. But you can't
Right.
run a fire hydrant off a 4-inch either, really.
No, not really.
No,
Should be minimum
no.
of 6.
Right,
Have to have a 6.
right.
And there's a fire hydrant right there at the corner of Kumar and Fremont.
That is correct.
Preferably fed from 2 directions in a loop.
Yeah.
So it sounds like we're all in agreement that this Coomer Brown Fremont
Yes.
loop is definitely a good OPWC project to submit.
Yeah, we just need to not leave out any information, I guess, is what I'm trying to get at.
Oh, there won't be,
Oh, I
Mr.
know, I
Foreman,
know, I
trust
know. I
me.
just-
It
We need
will
to make-
be,
But,
And we need to make it all a 6-inch line and not a 4-inch.
right.
Or 8-inch.
I prefer to go 8-inch and then only have 6-inch to your fire leads.
it'll be a good project when I submit it.
I was gonna say, it doesn't do much good to feed an 8-inch with a 4-inch, so I don't know if
Yeah.
you can get there or not.
Okay.
But if you're gonna bury the pipe, bury the right size
Right.
pipe.
Yeah,
One
because
of
you
those-
might change the other pipe in the future.
Right. One of those assignable agreements that we had with V3 now instead of Bird and Bull is on this project. So there still is a few bucks there that we can get started. This will probably be the project that I do first because of all the gathering of everything. So if I'd like to have a motion, just 2 things in the motion, if you don't mind. Number 1, identifying those 2 projects as possible OPWC so I can get started. And then the second motion being that I can get Bird and Bull or B3 going, especially on the water loop project.
So
The
on the
2
motions,
motions
you're
I
looking
need.
for a motion on the Fremont Street Loop project? Is that what we're gonna call it?
That is what we're calling it. That's what staff
Proceed with
calls it.
B3? What is
Mhm.
the other one named?
Right now, we're just calling it Park from East Cliff to Dorchester, including the pool.
Okay, so I would make a motion that we authorize the village administrator to move forward with looking into OPWC grant on the Fremont project and the Dorchester project.
Park
And-
project.
Fremont or Dorchester to Park or Park project?
Park to Dorchester, and then
Park to
also the water loop project.
Water loop project.
Cosgrave seconds the motion.
Okay, roll call.
Foreman,
Yes.
Cosgray,
Yes.
Bowler,
Yes.
And then the last motion I need is to be able to go out and engage V3 or Bird and Bull. Now, when engage, I mean, approach them. They can start some of the work because we have 9,000 left on our first agreement. And then we'll know exactly how much we will have, what their engineering costs would be. Like every year, when I come back with my OPWC, I will say this is how much engineering costs are. This is how much Brian says the village can put toward the project. And then this is how much we were going to ask for in a grant. And if we want a loan, I would rather have enough justification just to go for a grant and no loan, but I'll have to look at the numbers.
So you just need a motion to allow you
Engagement of
to
burden.
engage
engage
V3 with
V3.
remaining funds to begin OPWC project.
And to
work.
tell me how much the other project would cost too.
Yeah, Cosgrave
So-
make a motion that we allow the village administrator to engage with V3 to investigate the new OPWC projects and engage in getting estimates on the other work.
Hey,
Foreman
second.
seconds.
Okay, Foreman second it. Roll call.
Cosgray,
Yes.
Moeller,
Yes.
Foreman,
Yes.
Okay, is there anything else?
I believe that's all I have, Mr. Mueller.
Okay. Anybody else have anything for new business? Seeing none. Our next meeting is scheduled for September. Nope, it'll be October now, right?
Yep.
That is correct.
Okay, so it'd be our October. I don't have a calendar. Let me see what the calendar is. I don't know what date is. Should be October the. Daggone it. So it would be the 26th of October. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I was great. Motion to adjourn.
Okay.
Norman seconds.
Okay. We're adjourned.
All right, everyone. Hang tight, stay on. We'll start council in about 6 minutes.
Get okay.